There's a person in your life right now who does this. Maybe it's a colleague who frames everything as a joke, but somehow the joke always lands on you. Maybe it's a family member who can't get through a conversation without a comment that leaves you feeling just slightly less than. Maybe it's someone you barely know who was rude to you once, and you're still, weeks later, replaying it. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. They didn't pick you randomly. Rude people scan a room the way a predator scans a field. They're reading a signal, one you learned, not a flaw you chose. And the moment you see that signal and stop sending it, the targeting often stops. Fast. And none of what I'm about to share requires you to fight. No confrontation, no perfectly timed comeback, no matching their energy or becoming someone you're not. What actually works is quieter than that, and it's more disarming than anything aggression could do. Stay with me. Part 1. Rude people are rarely confident. This is the first thing to understand, and it matters more than it sounds. Underneath every cutting remark, every dismissive eye roll, every person who talks over you like your words are background noise. There is someone who needs to feel bigger than you. That's not speculation. That's usually the engine. They're not looking for a fight. They're looking for a mirror, someone who reflects their superiority back to them, someone who flinches, over-explains, laughs nervously, backs down, someone who, in their reaction, confirms the story the rude person needs to tell about themselves. They're looking for someone who will adjust for their approval, and somewhere along the way, without meaning to, you've been providing it, not because something is wrong with you, but because you were taught, probably very early, probably by someone who should have known better, that keeping the peace was your role, that your discomfort mattered less than managing someone else's mood, that being liked was safer than being clear. So you learn to shrink a little, to over-apologize, to fill silences before they became uncomfortable, to laugh things off that actually hurt you, to make yourself easier to be around by making yourself smaller. Pushy people can sense that quickly. It's not mystical. It's just that they've been looking for it their whole lives. Understanding this isn't a detour from the practical. It's the fastest route to it. Because once you see the mechanism clearly, you stop being mystified by the targeting, and you start seeing exactly what to change. Part 2. What they're actually responding to. It's not how you look. It's not your confidence in the abstract. It's something far more specific. It's the microsecond between when something stings and when you override yourself. Watch yourself the next time it happens. Someone says something dismissive, and what do? Do you laugh immediately, before you've even decided if it's funny? Do you over-explain, building a case for yourself nobody asked for? Do you go quiet in a way that makes you seem smaller rather than steadier? Do you ask, "What do you mean by that?" and then back down the moment they push back? Every one of those responses carries the same message underneath it. I'm not sure I'm allowed to take up space here. And that uncertainty, that slight involuntary broadcast of "I might not be enough," is the open invitation. This is not a character flaw. It's a learned reflex, something trained into you by an environment that rewarded smallness. And what was installed can be removed. Let me know if this is helping by hitting the subscribe button. It's the simplest way to support the channel so that I can keep making videos like this one. Part 3. What actually stops them. Not aggression, not a perfectly timed comeback, not matching their energy or escalating past it. Those are all still reactions, and reactions are exactly what they came for. What stops them is something they genuinely don't have a response to. Stillness, and short finished sentences, not performed stillness. Not the kind where you're visibly trying to seem unbothered while everything in your body is screaming. Real stillness, the kind that lives in someone so settled inside themselves that a snide comment simply has nowhere to land. You know people like this. Everyone does. They're not necessarily louder or more intimidating than anyone else in the room. They just have this quality, hard to name but impossible to miss, of being completely at home in themselves. They don't rush to fill silences. They don't scan the room after they speak to see how it landed. They take up exactly the space they take up, and they don't apologize for it with their body language or their words. When something rude gets directed at them, there's no flinch, no scrambling, just a quiet that says, "That didn't reach anything real." That quality has a name. It's called being unavailable for the audition. It means you have stopped trying out for the role of someone worthy of basic respect. You already know you deserve it, and you are not going to perform for someone who pretends otherwise. Not with defensiveness, not with over-explanation, not with the nervous laugh that gives them exactly what they came for. Part 4. How you actually build it. The first thing to know is that your reactions to rudeness are mostly happening before you consciously decide anything. Someone says something that stings, and your nervous system activates before your brain catches up. Your shoulders drop. Your voice gets smaller. You're already smoothing it over before you've processed what just happened. So, the first change is physical before it's anything else. When you feel that sting, stop. Not dramatically, just a breath. Let the moment sit for one beat longer than feels comfortable. Don't rush to smooth it over. Don't rush to respond. Just be in it for a second. That pause changes everything because what it communicates, without a single word, is that you are not on their tempo. You are not scrambling to manage their impression of you. You are present and unhurried, and whatever they just said did not send you into emergency mode. When you do respond, be short, be finished. You don't need to justify yourself to someone who just disrespected you. I disagree. I see it differently. That's not how I see it. No apology attached to the front. No softening that turns your position into a question. No over-explanation that gives them more material to work with. Just the words. Then silence. Let the silence sit. You will want to fill it. That urge is old programming, installed by years of managing other people's discomfort. The silence is not yours to manage. Let it sit on them. Part 5. The shift that changes everything. Stop needing them to admit they were rude. This is the trap most people never see. Underneath the frustration, underneath the replaying of the conversation at 2 a.m., there is a need for the other person to get it, to see what they did, to acknowledge it, to apologize. And because that never comes, rude people are not in the business of self-reflection. You stay in a loop they don't even know is happening. You're in a courtroom inside your own head, trying to earn a verdict, presenting evidence to a jury that left the building. You don't need their confession. You need your own clarity. You don't need them to admit it was unkind for it to have been unkind. What they intended, what they'll tell themselves later, whether they even remember it, none of that is your problem. Your only job is to stay anchored in what you know. The colleague who undermines your ideas in meetings. You stop pre-defending. You present clearly, you sit back, and when the comment comes, you say, I see it differently, and you don't look around to see who agreed with them. You're not there to win their approval. You already know what you think. The family member who can't get through dinner without a remark about your choices. You stop laying your life out for their verdict. Short answers. Warmth without details. You are not available for that conversation. And you don't justify it. When you stop needing the verdict, when you genuinely release the need for them to see it, there is nothing left for them to push against. The dynamic doesn't gradually improve. It collapses. Because the thing they were feeding on is gone. Calm confidence is not a performance. It's not a set of lines to deliver or a posture to hold. It's what remains when you've genuinely stopped outsourcing your sense of worth to people who were never qualified to hold it. You are not auditioning for basic dignity. You already have it. And the part of you that forgot that, the part that learned to shrink, to over-explain, to manage and apologize and laugh things off, that part was doing its best in an environment that asked too much of it. It kept you safe when safe was hard to come by. But you don't live there anymore, and your body can learn that. The moment that truth stops being something you've heard and becomes something you actually feel, in the pause before you respond, in the silence you stop rushing to fill, that's when it ends. Because what they were hunting for isn't there anymore. And they always know. Think about the person in your life this video brought to mind. Which of these shifts do you most need to make with them? Drop it in the comments. I read each one. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.